U.S. Naturalization Test. Listening and Speaking Practice, Part 2. Includes N-400 Parts 5-11 for U.S. Citizenship Interview. This is Part 2 of Listening and Speaking Practice. It includes Form N-400 Parts 5-11. The video will help you practice listening and speaking for the interview test. The questions section shows possible questions an officer might ask during the interview. The answers section shows a typical applicant's response, although for your interview, you'll have to answer with your own information, according to the N-400 form. Let's begin. About your residency. Where are you currently living? What is your home address? Can you please give me your current mailing address? Note, this is usually the same address as where you live. Where do you live? What was your last address? My address is... When did you move to this address? When did you begin living here? My address is... I began living here in 2017. Is it a house or an apartment? It's a house. Do you rent or own? I rent it. How long have you been living at this address? How many years have you lived at your current home address? I have been living at my current home address for 7 years. Do you still live with the same address? Where did you live before? Have you lived at any other address? I lived at... Have you changed your address since you submitted your application form? Have you moved since you applied for citizenship? No, I haven't. Yes, I have. Who do you live with? My husband and my children live with me. I live alone. So, you still live at, correct? Yes, correct. Do you have a different mail address? No, I don't have one. Where do you receive mail? It's the same as my living address. Are either of your parents U.S. citizens? No, they are not. Where do your parents live? They live in Mexico. Were your parents U.S. citizens before your 18th birthday? No. Did your parents get married before you turned 18 years old? No. What color are your eyes? What's your eye color? My eyes are brown. What color is your hair? What's your hair color? My hair is black. How tall are you? What's your height? I am 5 feet 6 inches tall. How much do you weigh? What's your weight? I weigh 130 pounds. What's your gender? Male or female? I am female. How do you support yourself? I work. Are you currently employed? Yes, I am currently employed. Do you work? Are you working now? Yes, I do. What is your work? What is your job? I work at a grocery store. I work at a restaurant. Where do you work? At what place do you work? I work at a grocery store. I work at a bank. What is the name of your work company? I work for Google. How long have you worked there? How long have you been working there? How many years did you work in this company? Are you still working with the same company? I've worked there since I've worked there since 2017. Have you had any other jobs? What job have you had in the past 5 years? Where else have you worked in the past 5 years? Where did you work? I used to work for a grocery store. I once worked for a bank. What is your occupation? What do you do for your company? What job do you have there? What kind of work do you do? I'm a chef. I'm a waitress. I'm a host. I'm a cleaner. At my job, I cook. At my job, I clean. What is your employer's name? Can you please give me your employer's name, where you are currently employed? His name is. Her name is. Have you been attending school full-time or part-time during the last 5 years? Yes. No. Have you taken any trips outside of the United States in the past 5 years? Have you ever traveled outside of the U.S. in the past years? Yes, I have. How many trips of 24 hours or more have you taken since you became a permanent resident? How many trips did you have? How many trips did you take? I took 2 trips. Your application says here that you have made 2 trips out of the United States. Is that correct? Yes, it's correct. How many total days did you spend outside the United States during the last 5 years? How many total days were you outside of the United States? I was outside of the United States for days. Tell me about the last trip. When did you leave? When did you return? I left on. I came back on. What was the purpose of your trip? I left to go see my family. Have you taken any trips outside of the United States since you submitted your form N-400? Have you taken any trips since you applied for citizenship? So you didn't have any trips outside of the United States since you've applied? No, I haven't. What is your marital status? I'm married. Are you currently single, married, widowed, or divorced? Are you married? Yes, I'm married. How many times have you been married? I've been married 1 time. When did you get married? What is your date of marriage? On what date did you get married? My date of marriage is August 7th, 2011. Where did you get married? I got married in Virginia. I got married in New York. I got married outside of the United States. Is your spouse a U.S. citizen? Yes, he is. Please show me your marriage certificate. You should show the officer your marriage certificate. What is the name of your spouse? What is your spouse's full name? My spouse's full name is Joseph William Garcia. Was your spouse married before? How many times has your present spouse been married? He has never married before. What is his date of birth? What is your spouse's birth date? His date of birth is. Where was your spouse born? What is the country where your spouse was born? What is his country of birth? Was he born in the United States? What is your spouse's country of origin? His country of birth is the United States. Is your spouse a citizen of the U.S.? Yes, he is. Where is your spouse living now? Does your husband live with you? Yes, we live together. Did you previously have a husband? No. Is your spouse working now? Yes, he is. What does he do? He is a... Where does he work? He works in... Do you have any children? Do you have any kids? How many children do you have? Yes, I have one son. What is your children's relationship to you? Are your children biological to you? I am the biological mother of my son. Do you have any stepchildren? Do you have any adopted children? Do you have any children from previous marriages? Does your spouse have any previous children? No. What is the name of your child? My son's name is... What is his date of birth? What is his birthday? When was he born? He was born on... Where was he born? In what country was he born? He was born in the United States. Is he a United States citizen? What is the immigration status of your children? He is a U.S. citizen. Where do your children live? Do your children live with you? He lives with us in the United States.